There's a trillion-dollar shift happening right now in how we value companies. We're moving beyond just profits to try and judge their environmental and social impact. This is the whole world of ESG, and it's built on one single powerful idea, that we can actually score sustainability. But here's the kicker. What if those scores don't actually add up?
All right, so first things first, let's just get a handle on the sheer scale of this thing. Judging companies on more than just their bottom line isn't some niche feel-good idea anymore. Oh no, it has become a core function of the modern market.
And the speed of this change, it's been absolutely staggering. I mean, think about it. Back in 2011, fewer than 1 in 5 of America's biggest companies even bothered to publish a sustainability report. Fast forward to 2023, and that number has skyrocketed to 98%. It's gone from a nice-to-have to an absolute must-do.
And it's not just about glossy reports either. Get this, by 2024, nearly 3/4 of those same companies were tying how much their executives get paid directly to these ESG metrics. So the point is, these scores have real teeth, affecting everything from a company's stock price to the CEO's bonus.
Which of course brings us to the big, thorny question at the heart of all this. If pretty much everyone is reporting on sustainability and getting paid based on it, how can an investor, or any of us really, tell the difference between genuine progress and just really clever marketing?
And that's where a whole new industry stepped in. ESG rating agencies popped up, promising to cut through all that complexity and give us one clear, simple score. Now, to really get what they're doing, we need to understand 2 key market problems they claim to solve.
Okay, so the first one is a classic from Econ 101, externalities. Just think of pollution. A factory might be making a ton of money, but if it's dumping waste into a river, society is the one that bears the cost of cleaning that up. That's a hidden cost, an externality, that the price tag on their product doesn't show. ESG is supposed to make those hidden costs visible.
Second, you got something called asymmetric information. It sounds complicated, but trust me, you already get it. It's the used car problem. The person selling the car knows everything about it, whether it's a gem or a total lemon. But you, the buyer, you're kind of in the dark. Well, in sustainability, the company knows way more about its real impact than any outside investor does.
So the ESG raters step in and basically say, hey, we're the expert mechanics of the financial world. They call themselves information intermediaries. Their whole pitch is that they can look under the hood, kick the tires, and tell you if a company is a solid performer or a sustainability lemon, and they'll boil it all down to one simple score for you.
But, and this is a big but, this is where the story takes a really sharp turn. When researchers started actually comparing these expert opinions, they found something pretty shocking. The experts, they often disagree, like spectacularly.
Let's just take the bank MUFG as a perfect example. One major rater, CDP, gives its climate efforts an A-. That's in their top-tier leadership category. Awesome, right? But then another big rater, MSCI, looks at the very same company and calls it misaligned with climate goals. That's their second worst rating. So, which is it? A leader or a laggard? The experts give you 2 totally different answers.
And listen, this isn't some one-off fluke. It's a huge issue across the board that researchers call ratings divergence. It would be like if Experian and Equifax couldn't agree if you were a great credit risk or about to default. It really suggests that the raters themselves don't even have a shared definition of what good is supposed to look like.
Now, this kind of divergence, this noise in the system, it creates a massive opportunity. Because if the referees can't agree on the rules, well, what do you think the clever companies do? They learn to play the referees instead of playing the game. And that's the art of strategic disclosure.
Turns out there's a whole playbook. Companies can use obfuscation, burying the bad news on page 257 of a 300-page report. They can use complexity, just drowning the raters in so much technical jargon that the negative stuff gets lost. And yeah, in some cases, they can just plain manipulate the performance metrics they provide.
And this quote from an anonymous insider in the aviation sector just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures a system that's more focused on checking boxes than on actual outcomes. Do you have the policy in place? Yes. Okay, you get the points. Do you follow the policy? Oh no, we don't measure that. It's all about paperwork versus actual performance.
And the result of all this? Well, it's that term we've all come to know and love, greenwashing. When the rating is based on having a policy on paper instead of real-world performance, it allows a company to wear this green halo that, frankly, it just hasn't earned.
So is this whole system just broken beyond repair? Well, not necessarily. The research actually points to a pretty clear path forward, but it's going to require action from everybody involved. It's really about demanding a better, more honest scorecard.
The recommendations are pretty straightforward. For the raters, be transparent. Tell us what your score is actually measuring. Is it the financial risk to the company or the real-world impact from the company? Because those are two very different things. For companies, when you brag about your A+ rating, give us some context. What's the scale? Where do you rank? And for policymakers, step in and ban the obvious conflicts of interest, like letting an agency sell consulting services to the very same companies it's supposed to be rating.
Look, at the end of the day, fixing this isn't on just one group. It's going to take everyone. It requires companies to be more honest, investors to be more skeptical and do their homework, policymakers to set up fairer rules, and the raters themselves to finally open up their black boxes and show us their work.
Which leaves us with one final and I think really crucial question to think about. In a world that is just swimming in sustainability data, we have to stop and ask, if a rating doesn't clearly measure a company's real-world impact, then what is it actually scoring? Is it a company's good intentions, its reporting budget, or maybe just its ability to play the game?